Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking MotoGP with myself, Rob Portman, and Donovan Free. And I just want to highlight the level of expertise that we have on this show. So I do this whole Super Brew thing where you choose your picks before a MotoGP race, and then you can have an internal one, which we have an internal Ride Fast one, which I'm leading. But in South Africa, I'm 388.
Hang on, by leading a Ride Fast, he's coming first out of five. And I know there are other people on there. It's not really...
not competition, not much competition. But in South Africa, I'm 388 out of 6,145. And in the world, I'm 615th out of 8,579.
Hang on, now let me get this right. So you're a professional, shall we say, MotoGP pundit.
Yeah.
And there are, let me see this. Okay, wait, there are 615 people in the world who are better than you. 388 of them are in South Africa.
Yep.
So why don't we get them on this show?
Because they're not accessible.
And I'm not on there. I'd obviously be leaning if I were.
They're not accessible and they don't have a great camera to do this kind of thing in a beautiful studio, as you can see.
Fair enough.
So Don, let's talk Jerez MotoGP, another exciting MotoGP race.
No, what was exciting about it?
The fact that Quartararo for the beginning was up there and the qualifying. The race, I can understand.
That's kind of grasping at straws. No, it was boring.
It was, but it's still exciting because even when I did the picks for the Super Brew thing, we spoke about it at Pekisa. We were racing at Pekisa at the time, and it's who do you choose? Anyone. And for the first time in a long time.
Can win. So the first 5 laps were interesting. It was like.
And then Marquez was playing with the field. Marquez had to come back after Kota. And he came back. That is when Marquez is at his worst. Well, at his worst, at his best type thing, because he just destroyed the field. He really did destroy them. He looked fastest throughout the entire weekend for me. I had him down for pole, but let's talk about Quartararo.
Yeah.
And those Petronas Yamahas.
Okay, those Petronas Yamahas, a lot of people are making the mistake of saying that they are last year's bikes, because traditionally that's what a satellite bike is, but they're not.
They're not. They're the current spec.
They're this year's bikes. They haven't quite got the aerodynamic package of the two works bikes, and they've got different front forks. That's the only difference I can tell.
Okay. But I looked at last year's results as well, and funny enough, the former Tech 3 Yamaha of Zarco finished second. And we had the satellite Yamahas outperforming the factory Yamahas again. So is it a Jerez thing? Is it just Petronas? Petronas have done well up to now. You can't take anything away from them.
It's not like you could say that this is the same team as last time.
No,
I think this just kind of means they're moving. Well, what are they called now? Monster.
Petronas SRT.
No, the other one. The Monster Yamaha.
Oh, Monster Yamaha MotoGP.
Are a bit crap.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, Rossi just looked out of sorts in qualifying, but you were waiting for this. Okay, well, he's qualified cut. He's going to come through the field and do so. And he did towards the end, but...
No, okay, hang on. Whoa. Hang on. A lot of people overlook that. He did towards the end. Now, I know Rossi didn't do very well in this room. I had him down as third. If I did your super brother thing. I had him down as 6th where he finished. I had him down as... Yeah, okay, you're lucky. I had him down as third. I thought, he's not going to win it. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. But he is going to come through and do something, because that's what he always does. It was a bit of a surprise that for once he didn't. And for the first time in how long, he's the last Yamaha. Well, okay, apart from Quartararo.
Quartararo.
Hang on, no, sir. Apart from Quartararo and Morbidelli, who had problems.
Yes.
He was the slowest of the Yamahas, which has not happened in a very long time. But more importantly, he came through at the end. Now, for the last 3 years, the Yamaha has struggled with grip, particularly grip at the end of the race. And what does it to say something? He was quicker. He was one of the quickest bikes on the track at the end of the race. Doesn't that say a lot for Yamaha?
It does, because even with Vinales, he for once got a decent start, ran at the front. Then, kind of with 10 laps to go, I thought, okay, he's gonna drop. I'm waiting for him to drop, like Morbidelli did, and he didn't. He held off Dovi to put it on the podium for the first time in a while. So Yamaha. Look, in the testing on the Monday, Rossi was again nowhere. He was behind Zarco in 17th place. But race pace-wise, so far this year, it does look like a much better package. I
know, exactly. It's slow as hell, but it's a better package. What I will say something interesting is you got Rossi and you got Rins. They are the Sunday men.
Definitely.
They're terrible on Friday. They're terrible in qualifying, but then on Sunday they came through. Do you know what that proves? Men with curly hair are bet on Sundays.
True. Funny looking men with curly hair, I bet on Sunday. But Rins, shame. Rins came out and apologized to Suzuki. I don't know what for. It's because of his qualifying, but I still don't think he would have had much in answer for Marquez. But he only finished 1.6 behind. And Rins, we said it at the beginning of the year, is a podium contender week in and week out
he
now.
was 3 seconds behind, and then Marquez spent the last lap
waving at his fans
and scratching his nose.
But still, I mean, that's Suzuki with Rins. I mean, John Mir was up there for a while challenging Rossi. Rossi's other problem was he got caught behind Jack Miller for a couple of laps, and it's not easy to pass an Australian on a Ducati, especially a wild Australian like Jack Miller. So I think he did have a bit extra. He came through to 6. I just want to quickly touch on Dovi, because now in the overall championship, I think he finished something like 40-something points behind Marquez last year. It was either 40 or 70. I did my homework, but I have a terrible memory. But last year, if you think about it, Kota, he finished kind of nowhere, didn't pick up many points, and Jerez, he got taken out by Lorenzo and Pedrosa. Now, 2 of his worst tracks, him and Ducati's worst track, he picked up 3rd in Argentina and 4th here at Jerez. So already he's a lot closer to Marquez than he has been in previous seasons. This Ducati track's going forward.
He is indeed, and I will also say something, the character of Dovi. I mean, he was up there behind Vinales. Now, he could have done a last corner, last lap kind of dive. I mean, he might have even got away with it, but this is Dovi. He sort of sat there and said, well, I can, but it's going to be a big risk. This is a long championship.
I'm going to pick up the points. And like I said, going forward, Marquez, especially, Marquez ticks off Kota at 25 points. He hasn't done that this year. We're going to go to the Czech Republics, maybe. Apparently that track might be cancelled because of government funding, but we'll see. But then you got Austria and that, so there's a lot of Ducati tracks coming up. And Dovi, as I said, points-wise, is a lot closer, better off than he's been in the last couple of seasons. So, Marquez is kind of running away with it at the moment. But
as we see with Kota, I mean, Marquez isn't
prone to not making a mistake.
Well, you've got Dovi. I mean, they're exactly the opposite characters. I mean, this is 2 opposite ends of approaching this championship. You've got Marquez, which is just gung-ho, and then you've got Dovi, which is this sort of a lot more kind of considered approach. I mean, Dovi, you don't really see him making mistakes, do you?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't, and it's a different Dovi. He's not setting the world alight, apart from Qatar, where he went and he won the race. But again, Argentina, which he sucked at his entire life, him and Ducati, they were on the podium. Jerez, they also seem to struggle with pace in the last couple of years. There he was, 4th, Petrucci in 5th, a better ride there.
Even Kota, I mean, he got a 4th.
Yeah.
Which, not bad
more points. It's more points. So going forward, I think, watch out for Dovi and Ducati. That this championship, I know people are saying, it's a Marquez show, it's all over. I don't think so. Marquez is the man to beat.
Technically, at Jerez last year, Marquez won by miles also. He did exactly the same thing, in fact. So
it's not over. And Rins is right in the championship now as well. And sorts he's qualifying out a little bit more. Rins and that Suzuki are serious contenders. Same with Rossi.
Yeah, you look at it. I mean, as you said, Suzuki much faster. The Yamaha's much faster. 4 of them. This is going to be fun.
That's what I'm saying. And this going into the weekend and trying to make predictions is just becoming a headache for me, actually. I don't even know why I want to do it anymore. But let's talk about, just beyond the Crutchlow, had another tough weekend, and I think he just circulated for points.
Well, I saw on, Monday after the race, they had the testing.
Yes.
Crutchlow was trying to use the hard tyre. For whatever reason, he couldn't use the hard tyre. This is what he was saying in the interview. He couldn't use the harder tyre, which is preferable for his bike. And on the testing, they actually tried a different bunch of settings, and he managed to use it. So it looks like they kind of solved that problem.
And he was second quickest in the Monday test.
He was the quickest Honda.
He was the quickest Honda. Quartararo was the fastest, 36.3 lap time from Quartararo in that testing.
Now in his pole time was a 36.7. So that is the fastest ever lap around Jerez, set by a tiny little youngster, French, on a satellite bike, by a team that didn't exist a few months ago.
But again, that just shows you how good that Yamaha package is.
But you look at, Quartararo, he was, remember, before he even joined Moto3, he was the biggest hotshot ever.
He
won
was the next
everything
Marquez
in the European Series. He arrived in Moto3, and everybody says, right, you're the best thing ever. Go out there and show everyone you're the best thing ever, which is a cruel thing to do to a 15-year-old. And then he ended up in Moto2 after that. Well, first of all, he got too tall for Moto3. He then ended up in Moto2 on a bunch of teams he just didn't gel with. And finally, when he started gelling, he did well. So he's always been good. Yeah. This is how good he should have been. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what he's doing. He's showing his true talent now. When they took the chance on him last year, be honest, when Quartararo was signed for this new Yamaha Petronas team, I was like, okay, well, funny choice, yes, no, but paying off, clearly.
Well, yeah, Quartararo and Mir, people just... don't forget, the guys behind the scenes, they know what's going on. They know what the teams are doing. They speak to teams.
Yeah, they look a lot more internal than what we just see.
Exactly.
And they look at the lap times and everything. And if you look what he's doing, I mean, he's absolutely destroying the likes of Bagnaia, who unfortunately had another bad weekend. I think he's going to come good, but not the kind of start that we thought he was going to have. Oliveira was shocking this race meeting. I don't know what happened to Oliveira, but I mean, he was 18th, 41.5 seconds behind. Those KTMs, I don't even know what more to say about KTM.
Yeah.
Zarco was 14th, 26.7 seconds.
What I will say is, okay, Zarco was a lot closer to
Espargaro.
So Zarco is starting to come good. Okay, hang on, let's just get on here. Guys who've moved teams. There's Zarco and there's Lorenzo. Okay, now Lorenzo finished, where's he here? Okay, he was in 12th, 18 seconds behind the leader. He was behind in Aprilia, and behind Bradle, he was, I'm looking at this, 5 seconds behind Bradle, the HRC test rider.
I mean, I don't know, we've been saying he's going to come good. Is he just a seat filler in MotoGP?
Yeah, okay. He's got some problems, and I'm just actually watching the way he rides. You've always known Lorenzo to be this very fluid kind of rider, especially on the Yamaha. And you even saw it on the Ducati. You look at his body positioning. Body positioning tells you a lot about a rider. He was always very kind of fluid on the bike, fluid in everything. He used to put on brakes and be very fluid. You watch him now. Just watch him going into corners. He looks like, you know, the old 500cc MotoGP, 500cc Grand Prix riders.
Move 6 times before you in the turn.
Yeah, you put on brakes and you turn in like that.
Yeah.
So you put the bike down and you say, watch him, he's doing that. And he was saying, I mean, he's got problems with kind of bracing himself going into a corner. And that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you can't get your legs, you know, to kind of hold your body up, you can't get in like this. So he's having to use his arms, and he can't kind of do his fluid style. Now, a lot of people are kind of saying, ooh, look, Lorenzo, but cast your mind back 2 years ago right now. Lorenzo was doing exactly the same thing. He was on a Ducati, he was struggling with his position on the bike, people were mocking him, and he just kept at it. And don't forget, now he's still injured, he's still got that scaphoid. Don't think it's better, scaphoids take forever.
Yeah.
And he just needs to find, Honda need to find that magic seat. You know, or the magic tank, or the magic foot pegs, or something. Because remember, all Ducati did was it took them a year and a half. They just changed the tank, and suddenly he started winning.
Yeah, he just looks so deflated and so demoralized. I really hope they can sort it out soon. I wouldn't write him off yet, but I just thought, I mean, he also thought coming into Jerez he was going to be.
Yeah.
And after free practice 1, he looked good. In qualifying, he looked okay. He had the crash and whatever, but he was looking good. And in the race, it just went all horribly wrong for him.
I thought he'd do better in the race.
I had him in the top 10.
He looked pretty good. I mean, the other thing he keeps saying is he missed a lot of the testing through injury.
Yeah.
He is very far down on the other. I mean, even Bradle, he rides the bike every week, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we say test rider. He is an ex-Moto2 champion.
Yeah.
And he rides the bike regularly, so fair enough. And he was riding the latest Honda. Now, what's his name? Marquez had a go on that on the Monday test.
Yes, I saw that.
What they're actually doing is what they previously did with Honda swing arm is they would brace it with carbon fiber.
Okay.
So instead of having different swing arms with different thicknesses and different stiffnesses, all they do is they just stick on bits of carbon fiber that brace it, which is brilliant, you know.
Very clever.
And they started doing that with the frame.
Okay.
And Marquez took Bradle's bike. It was kind of weird. You saw Marquez with a 93 and HRC colours.
Kit, no red
he set his fastest time on Monday on that bike.
So
with
something there then, eh? I mean, look, Bradle did well. 13 and a half seconds back. First race of the year, like you said, he's done testing and whatever, but there's nothing can kind of simulate a race simulation. So for Bradle to finish 10th, 13 and a half seconds behind, Honda are improving that package, which is not good for the rest of the field.
That's annoying.
It is annoying, but I mean, now Honda just need to translate that into their World Superbikes, and then they'll be.
Well, that's going to be the test of Yamaha now, because up until this stage, Yamaha always produced a good package in the beginning. And everyone thought, yeah, the Yamaha's good, the Yamaha's good.
Would falter.
No, they would stay exactly where they are. They would not progress. Move, and everyone else would progress. They've got Folger there now as a test rider, and they've got a European test team, and they've got new people within the team. So hopefully that's going to change. But
like you said, they've also now got this very competitive Petronas Yamaha team, which is the Quartararo and Morbidelli. So,
and they're riding the current bikes. So
exactly. So I think that is only going to benefit Yamaha, and it already has with Viñales, Rossi, Morbidelli, and of course Quartararo. So I think Quartararo going forward, I mean, do you think this was just a flash in the pan, Jerez, or do you think, I mean, he's had a good start to the season. Qatar, he had bad luck here, he had bad luck.
Well, hang on, next round is his home round.
Yeah,
we're going to France.
Look, that's not an easy track. I mean, that does not look like an easy track. If you told me one of the hardest tracks, even playing it on PlayStation. You just play MotoGP on PlayStation and pick Marquez and try and get around there. That's how hard that is. So interesting to see if Quartararo can keep this form up.
Imagine Quartararo winning in France.
Oh man.
Now hang on, the French have a big party and they basically set fire to the town. I'm telling you, if Quartararo wins, France is going to sink into the ocean.
And Le Mans is going to be burnt to a crisp, so he'll never win there again. So that's pretty much MotoGP. I mean, again, Marquez is doing what he's doing, but I think Dovi and Ducati are looking stronger than they have. So if they can take advantage of the tracks where they know they're good and pick up the points there, it's going to be a lot closer to this championship. And Marquez, we've seen he's prone to making mistakes. Dovi has clearly sorted out whatever issues he's had. Like you said, he just didn't seem mentally strong enough at certain races last year. This year he seems to have sorted it out. So I think that's going to be good. And I think with Petrucci also pushing him, I think Petrucci's a much stronger character than maybe Lorenzo was. So maybe in the pits there, I think Dovi, with a fellow Italian on an Italian bike, he wants to be the top rider.
Can we mention, before we move on from MotoGP, they did the Monday test. Rins tested one of those little scoops. That goes under the swing arm. Rossi calls it the spoon.
the water deflector or the whatever it's called.
And Rins actually used it as a spoon because he went out on track to test it, and in one of the first laps out, got all wrong, went off the track into the gravel. The gravel hit the spoon and broke it off. And that ended Suzuki's test.
Oh, and it probably cost how much development and money went into that spoon, and he just goes and destroys it.
You could just see the Suzuki team kind of sitting there going, oh.
Well, you asked for it, we gave it to you, and you destroyed it. But I saw Aprilia were running it now. Everyone's kind of running that now, whether it does anything or not.
Oh, come on, it's all GG.
Yeah, it's all GG playing mind games with everyone. I can't wait till what he puts on after that, because he's gonna put something stupid on that bike, and it's gonna go even better. Yeah. Let's just move quickly on to Moto2 before we end. Brad Binder, again, just another weekend of just trying everything he can. He finished 5th. He's way better than a 5th place rider. He's a 1st place rider. Touch on the Pacini.
Yes, the Pacini. Okay, so he's out of a ride for this year, which is disappointing because I like Pacini. Yep. You actually watch him ride. He's more exciting than Marquez. People don't believe me, but actually watch him. He loses the front in every single corner. It's amazing.
And he brakes and accelerates and does everything with his left hand.
Well, he's got this hand, isn't his strong hand. So he has to do everything through one hand.
Yep.
And he was given a Kalex as a wild card in
Argentina.
No, it was last one. It was Kota.
Kota, you're right.
Yes, it was Kota. Yes. He qualified 7th, finished 4th, which is amazing.
And that was the first time he climbed on a Triumph Kalex Moto2 bike.
Yeah, Triumph Moto2 bike. This round, KTM, he didn't once make the top 20, and he crashed in the race.
And he was just saying, compared to the Kalex, I saw some of his comments, he just said stability and that seemed fine, but he just cannot attack the corners.
Well, here's the thing, okay, they spoke to Paul Espargaro about riding that bike. He said you have to ride it like Marquez. You have to brake really late, you have to hold the brake right into the corner, because that steel trellis frame is stiff. It's very stiff.
Yeah, very rigid.
Which means it's very stable, but it doesn't turn.
Yeah.
It's not very kind of easy going, which is why Zarco is struggling, because he's gotten off the Yamaha, which is the most fluid motorcycle in the world, onto the most rigid.
And he says, when I get off, I'm exhausted after riding that KTM. Yeah. But I mean, what does Brad do now? Look, apparently the big boss from KTM was at Jerez, and he said, what we are doing in Moto2 is disgusting. We are going to sort those problems out. Well, is it a case of KTM, or is it the actual IO team? Remember, IO ran the Moto3 and the Moto2 team. So it's a KTM factory-supported team, but it's an internal team.
Well, okay, IO in Moto2 are the top KTM riders, with Brad and Martin. They are the 2 top KTM riders. So, I mean, I know we're giving them a bit of flack, especially in Moto3. They're not really showing anything. But the Moto2, they seem to be okay. Another little point to touch on is that we had high hopes for Binder, especially in testing. They did all the testing in Jerez, and he was the fastest. Yeah. Everybody put him down as the championship favourite.
Definitely.
And now he's not. Now, especially Jerez, he was not able to get even close to his pace in testing. And what seems to be the big problem is actually the heat.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that.
Yeah, testing was
done
in winter.
From one free practice to another.
Yeah, testing was done in winter. As soon as it heats up, that bike develops.
It just does not work.
It starts getting a bit of a chatter.
And you can see it when he attacks the corners. It just looks like he's overriding. And like I said, Brad's not a 5th place rider. Brad is a 1st place rider. So it's going to be interesting to see now that the KTM bosses come there and said we've got to sort out our Moto2 project, because I think at the same time they don't want to lose Brad.
Yeah.
You know, who else are they going to put on that bike?
Well, somebody joked that they're actually sabotaging his MotoGP career to keep him in Moto2.
To try and
let's make a bike that's a bit crap this year so he can't get a MotoGP, right?
I personally think Brad needs to make, if he does go MotoGP, it needs to either be on a Suzuki or one of those Petronas SRT Yamaha bikes. I think if I was a rookie coming into MotoGP, those are the only two bikes I'd want to be on.
I agree. There's someone I want to mention in Moto3, someone I'll be watching, I kind of like, I'm going to try and get his name right, Tatsuki Suzuki.
Who rides a Honda in Moto3.
Ironically rides a Honda, Mr. Honda. Okay, he was leading by miles at Kota and then fell off, okay, he's a youngster, it happens.
Yeah.
At Jerez, he reminded me of two people. I mean, there was a freight train of 16 motorcycles.
Yeah, another awesome race.
But he reminded me of two people. Brad Binder in 2016.
Yes, I would agree.
Joan Mir in 2017.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because he was almost always out front. I think he led the most number of laps.
Kept himself at the front.
And every single time he went back, he immediately went back to the front.
That's how you have to race Moto3.
Yes, because you do. Because as soon as you get back, like, into the fray, that's where bad stuff
Game
happens.
over.
Exactly. Also in Moto3, there was a guy named Antonelli. Remember him?
Yeah, he looks like Simoncelli and was supposed to be the next best thing.
He was, I think, 5 years ago, he was a big thing.
The next best thing.
And you suddenly go, him!
He was one of the riders that went to the KTM IO Red Bull team, and let's face it, not many good things have come out of that team in Moto3 since Brad. I mean, Darren's tried, Antonelli's tried, Bo Benschneider's tried, so, and at the moment Chan On Chu is trying, and that's not working out. He's not doing so well, yeah. Look, I was impressed as well with Darren touching on him in Moto3. He's, for once, we can kind of use the word consistent with the name Darren Binder.
That doesn't necessarily mean Darren is consistent. It just means that everybody else is more crap at being consistent.
8th in the championship, 12th, more championship points. So keep doing what you're doing, Darren. Just get that confidence and keep going. And a welcome return in Moto2 for Stephen Oendal. Let me tell you, he finished 18th. And his race pace wasn't too bad for a guy that hasn't done any testing on that bike.
And only has half a foot.
Has half a foot. I watched him out at Red Star riding at R1. You were there. I mean, watch out for Stephen Oendal. I think there's plenty more to come from him. So that brings a wrap. Don, I have tasked you with getting a nice story ready for me for the June issue of Ride Fast called Rossi's Rascals. So you've got a lot of work to do. I want that article in the next couple of days. So watch out for that.
And you want to show him on your front cover.
Yeah, then, I mean, look at this. This is the May issue of Ride Fast. Just look at this. I mean, does it get any better? No, it doesn't. And the cover story is the beautiful new Ducati Panigale V4R and an article written by Donovan.
No, here's the thing. Okay, the article's written by me. Most of the photos are of him.
Because my leathers and everything just look cooler.
Yeah, I don't really compliment that Ducati.
So get it. It was on the bike show as well. Of course, that if you want to catch Donovan week in, week out, he is on the bike show. And grab your May issue of Ride Fast magazine in stores every single month. There's some cool MotoGP articles in there. Don's going to be doing some more stuff with us in there as well. So plenty. I hope you enjoyed this.
Hang on, who's going to win at Le Mans?
Oh, geez, don't even go there, please. I promise you, I get so many headaches trying to pick this. I'm actually fighting with my friends. But I'm going to leave it all out there. I'm going to go Marquez, Davi, Quartararo.
You know what? I've given up trying to actually be clever about this. It's pointless.
No, you just got to thumb it
out.
It's
pointless. I want Quartararo to win because I want to see France sink into the ocean.
Yeah, good one.
Second going to be Rins because I want something interesting. And
I didn't
third...
put Rins on my podium.
You didn't. You see how difficult this is. Oh. So Quartararo win. This is what I want. It's not going to happen, but anyway, because I want France to sink into the ocean. Rins in second. I'm going to put... You know what? I'm going to say Quartararo, Morbidelli, Rins, just because that's never going to happen, and I feel better about this. You know what I mean? I've taken something completely obnoxious. It's never going to happen, and I don't have to think, and I don't have to worry because I know it's wrong.
Well, I'm going to go one even better. I'm going to go Johan Zarco, Tito Rabat, and Bradley Smith if he rides.
I'm going to so laugh if that happens. It's going to pour with rain. Everybody's going to fall off.
And then my predictions are going to be right. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Talking MotoGP. We'll catch you after the Le Mans race. Keep well until then.